maybe
Having sex for the first time with someone in your 40-something-year-old body
yeah,
is different.
yeah.
It's different.
You're not hanging from the ceiling anymore like you did in your 20s.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Stacey.
You.
I'm fantastic. That was a lovely intro, even after a kind of bendy, semi-sweaty yoga class.
This is true. I feel that we tend to pair the recording of our podcasts with some kind of movement because we are both advocates of movement. Yes?
Yes, agree.
But we do tend to, I don't know, lean more towards the sweaty, heart pumping cardio type workout. But we know the bendy stuff is muy importante.
See, because we are women in our 40s, we've mentioned it before and we're going to mention again, we need the strength training, ladies, the osteoporosios. Someone told me the other day that prostate cancer is to men what osteoporosis is to women.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely the strength, the lengthening also for our balance, like as we get older, our muscles sort of start to either atrophy or really bunch. And if we don't focus on stretching them and elongating them, they'll just continue bunching, which leads to injury.
Correct. I mean, how many friends, mothers do you know that have had hip replacement?
Yo.
Quite a few.
Yo.
Yeah.
So we are just doing our best to keep it moving. So yes, that's a good catch up to start with. We just took a yoga class.
Yeah. First one for me since 2019, I imagine. How about you?
2018, 2019, probably. It's been a minute. And even prior to the pandemic, it was really like I went kicking and screaming.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't like it.
Yeah. You're very flexible though. Speaking of an F word.
Yeah. Flexibility doesn't mean strength though.
Yeah.
So flexibility has always been something I've just it's almost a cheat. Like, oh, I'm so flexible, but I can't pick up this 10-pound weight. Yeah. What did you think of the class?
It was okay. I think when it comes to any kind of class like this, the instructor is a big part of it, right?
Totally.
And I gravitate towards, even though I know yoga is different than dance fitness, it's a little more serious. It's a little more calm. It's a little more zen.
There's no Beyonce in the yoga class.
There wasn't a single drop of music in this class that we attended just today. So I get the differences, but I do I'm attracted to energy and smiles and a little bit of silliness. And I don't know. I don't know if I was vibing instructor. It was nothing wrong with her. It just, sometimes there's chemistry and sometimes there's not.
True.
However, the moves they were hard.
They were very difficult.
Really good.
I think what's really a misconception about yoga is that it's like soft and breathing and breathy and just slowly moving. But I have to say yoga is probably, to me, harder than boxing.
Oh, way harder for me.
And you feel every little muscle that you didn't even know you had. And today we focused on their lower back. And I was just like, yikes.
I agree. And was it last week or the week before? I can't remember if we talked about it on the podcast, but we also took a Pilates class recently. And I was mentioning to Carrie on our way out, not only are the moves super hard and you're finding muscles that you kind of forgot you had, but compared to like boxing or dancing, in Pilates and yoga, I'm also feeling every roll and jiggle.
Same.
And fold and crevice because you're trying to reach things and bend and contort. And it's like when you're just standing boxing, you're not necessarily reaching and bending all around your body. And that is a little bit of a mind fuck, right? You're kind of like, oh, whoa, especially if your body has changed sizes or just has changed a lot. So that has been something I've had to sort of get over and just sort of meet myself where I'm at and be like, this is where we are now. And this is what we got to do.
True. I notice it, especially because we're laying down. So when we're laying down and they're like, okay, now grab the straps. And I'm just like, well, where are they?
I have to heave myself up.
One more time. I need a strap to find the strap. But it does. You do feel every little crease, every little crevice.
Yeah.
Maybe a snack snuck in your sports bra. leftover from breakfast.
Why is granola under my boob?
Oh, I was thinking toast crumbs. But
It's
yes,
so
but
true.
we're just fitness gals.
Yeah, we are.
Another F word.
We were kind of both feeling our oats a little bit when we went out to our car, and we're like, oh my God, we have boxing gloves, pickleball rackets, and yoga mats in our cars. We're just a picture of us.
We are just fitness gals going up and down the town. We also love an introductory free class.
Ooh, yes. You know what? And that actually will make it or break it whether I'll go to a studio.
Me too.
Because I just saw another studio that I was really interested in. I liked their website, which is the number one thing getting me to think about the credibility of a business, right? Anyone who needs a website, I build them. Anyway.
Say it louder for the people in the cheap seats.
Quick plug. But so I really like this website. I just liked it, and I like their Instagram, the whole thing. So I'm on their website looking, searching, first class, $28. No intro, no like come in for half off or free. And that kind of bothered me, particularly at that price point. Like, I have to admit, my Plyo Jam classes, I don't give a first free class. I used to when I taught regularly, but now I'm just doing pop-ups.
Right.
And also my class is $17. It's not 28, 30, 35 as a lot of these other studios are.
Yeah.
So I was a little turned off by that.
Yeah, rightly so. I also judge a book by its website.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. And not even just fitness, like anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody I want to work with, a place I want to go, a hotel I want to stay at.
Yeah.
I want to see a fabulous website.
Yeah. I agree.
It really is the first impression. And then I'll immediately go to their Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's kind of the trail I follow as well.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. So someone in our Wisdom Wednesday group yesterday, as you all know, Carrie runs a network group called the Bra Network. And we have this meeting on Wednesdays, well, every other Wednesday where we just kind of get together. It's kind of a mastermind talking about our needs in business. And one person in the group was really talking about all the effort that they've been putting into building their business and growing and networking and outreaching and sending in offers and things like that. And I just kept thinking, I haven't looked. What does your digital presence look like? So when you are reaching out to them, they're going to do exactly what we do. Let me go to look at your web. Sorry to snap. Sorry. That is the dancer in me. What does your website look like? What does your social look like?
Sure.
Immediately go and look. And if you look clean and polished, I might consider bringing you in.
Yeah. And offer a nice discounted introductory class.
Exactly.
We'll show up.
All of
for
that.
sure. I think it's very important, especially if you are an entrepreneur or a small business owner, especially if you're doing e-commerce or direct to consumer. You really need functionality, another F word, and visibility
and flow.
Hey, yeah, we should just make it a drinking game. Wow. Well, that being said, should we dive in?
I mean, I guess.
Okay. Well, as always, we always start with the what the fuck you say segment.
Okay.
With our Gen Z terms, educating our listeners on all the languages of the Gen Zs.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And it's this list. I mean, we could record hundreds of episodes and we will never get through this entire list.
No, I will say we both used some Gen Z terms in a meeting the other day.
We did.
I think we really impressed people.
I think I used no cap.
You did. And I used drip.
Yeah. Yep. And you could tell the 20 somethings in there were like, yeah, these women are, how would they describe us? These women are
bussin'.
Perfect. Okay. Word number one is actually an acronym.
Oh,
okay.
Shoot. Okay.
So
I love a good acronym.
Sorry, I just tapped the microphone. Sorry, everyone. Yes, we'd like to apologize for our first episode where we basically made out with the microphone. I mean, it sounded like we were licking it. There were so many taps on that microphone. So we apologize. We've now stepped up our professional game and are shooting in our lovely friend Kathy Shu's studio.
Kathy Shu Photography, shout out.
Yeah, talk about a good website.
It's soon to be
a fantastic website with our beautiful faces on it.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the meantime, though, she does have a beautiful Instagram.
Absolutely. And if you need your portrait taken, your family, I mean, she doesn't really love taking pictures of babies, but she might make an exception.
Maybe.
You can head over to her studio here in Los Angeles.
lifestyle branding, photography.
All of it.
Yeah.
It is crucial. In fact, if you look at our photos in our F word Instagram, you will see Kathy's work.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. First one, acronym. TFW. TF.
Oh, I know it. I think it's that feeling when. That feeling when.
Nice. Ding, ding, ding.
Like TFW, you walk into yoga late and feel like an idiot.
TFW, you get off work early on a Friday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Best ever.
Best TFW.
Oh, feeling is bussin'.
Yeah. First TFW. Oh, see, I didn't know that one. Look at you.
I do consider myself a little in the know, like a slight bit.
Yeah, you just are ahead of me. That's for
But I get knocked down real fast, and I'm like,
well, let's see if this one knocks you down. Take several seats.
I do know that, and it's hysterical. Actually, it's one that when someone says it properly and delivers it well, I love it. Like, it sounds so badass. So it's basically like when someone just needs to shut up and stop what they're doing. Like, you're like Donald Trump needs to take several seats. Yes. So does Rick DeSantis or
whatever that dumbass.
Seats.
If someone is really getting on your nerves, you might tell them to take several seats.
I have. In fact, if you heard last week's episode, my neighbor can take several seats.
He can take 1,000 fucking seats.
Fucking A.
Jesus. Do we have a follow-up for that yet?
We do, yes. We have a good follow-up.
Okay, I love that. I love it. So that is our education portion of the podcast today. Everyone use TFW, that feeling when, as well as take several seats.
Yes.
So an acronym and a phrase we brought to the campers today.
Oh,
yes. So would you like to dive into our F words?
We can. I wanted to go into another segment though before we do our F words, because I think it's fun to talk about what the fuck we're watching.
I agree.
And I seriously need someone to be caught up on Succession so I can talk. You are not caught up.
No.
Right? Okay, that's okay. It is.
But you can tell me what happens.
What, you're not gonna watch it?
No.
Okay.
I tried.
You couldn't get into it?
No.
Oh my gosh. I had a really hard time getting into it at first. Then I was like, I can't get enough because it's so dysfunctional. So if anyone watches Succession, I'm not going to give any spoilers. How about that? But I am in season 4. I'm caught up to date. So right now it's April 27th. So I just watched the most recent one on the 22nd or whatever that Sunday was. And they did a shocker this season.
Ooh.
A big shocker that just left you like, what? And I believe this is the last season. The season 4 is the last season, so they're wrapping it up.
What network is it on? Or streaming?
It's on HBO Max.
HBO Max.
And the whole premise of the show is it's kind of like a Richard Murdoch. Is he the one that has the big media company, or is in charge of the big? Not the Murdoch, but
not murders. The guy, the murder. That was Murdaugh.
That was Murdoch.
There's Murdoch. Robert Murdoch. Richard Branson.
Someone's screaming at us right now.
No. What? I thought the guy who stole all the money, Bernie Madoff. Is he like a Bernie Madoff? Because Bernie Madoff was the one that like duped people for like 20 years.
It very well could be. I'm looking up media mogul right now.
Murdoch sounds right.
Rupert Murdoch.
Rupert.
We got it, guys.
Got it.
So
that's
terrible.
Yeah.
This is terrible. Rupert Murdoch. He wasn't. I think it's kind of. It feels like it's based loosely on him.
Okay.
So there's Logan Roy. He's the patriarch of the Roy family.
Gotcha.
He's the leader of this huge multimedia company. He's a bajillionaire. He's twisted.
Brian Cox, right? Plays him, the actor.
Can't remember. I don't know the name.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure I know that.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
He's truly incredible. But anyway, and then I guess the whole, as true to the name, the idea is which of his children are going to take over the business, because Logan is, getting older and everything. So
I did watch the first 3 episodes and then they kind of lost me.
Yeah.
But Cameron Fry's in it, right? From Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yes, he is. He's a lesser role, but yes. And the actor that really blows me away is Kieran Culkin.
Oh, yes.
Macaulay Culkin's younger brother.
Yeah.
He's unreal. He plays Roman for short. he's one of the sons. So Logan Roy basically has 4 kids, 3 sons and a daughter. Daughter's named Shiv. Interestingly, Siobhan is her name, and she goes by Shiv. And interestingly, when I was in Madrid last summer, I had 2 different Spaniards tell me I looked like her.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that funny? I looked at her and I can see it a little bit in the eyes. I'll do a side by side and I'll put it on our Insta.
Yes,
Yeah, I'll show it. She has kind of the heavy lids like I do, a little bit of freckles. So
Very nice.
I think there's maybe a little bit of
she must be stunning.
She's gorgeous. She's great.
So what do you like about the show so much?
I don't know. It's like, I think it's just so crazy and twisted. But yet it's interesting because I don't particularly love any of the characters. They also are portraying a very conservative family. So none of it really like aligns with my values, but I think it's just such a shit show. And so I do find, and like I said, particularly Kieran Culkin's dialogue, the writing is like, who thought of this?
The storyline,
these lines, not even just the storyline, but the delivery, the dialogue, the way they talk shit to each other is just, I don't know. I just really love it. So it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I would suggest if you're looking for something that you're like, I want something with multiple seasons that I can really watch for a little while.
All right, maybe I'll pick it back up.
But it is really good.
Okay. All right, maybe I'll pick it back up. And I stopped in season 1 when he was getting out of the hospital. Because he season 1 started with him having a heart attack or something like that. So I know, I don't remember any of their names. But I do remember the one guy that plays one of the sons was in the movie Molly's Game with Jessica Chastain. And because that movie's about poker and I love poker. Okay. Yeah. Yes. So he's in that movie and I was like, oh, I haven't seen him in a while and I don't know his name or anything. But he's one of the sons.
Maybe the one
who do you think who's good? What's your prediction? Who's taking over? Who's succeeding?
I almost feel like none of them are going to take over. I think I think someone's going to buy it.
Like a lawyer comes in.
I don't know. And then there's also this there's a lot of like ageism going on with like, the older school members of the board. And it is fascinating. And I will just end it with this about Succession. My hairstylist was also the same as you. She's like, I started like work the first, I don't know. And then I just lost it. I'm like, just trust me, get into it. She just texted me yesterday. Oh my gosh, I'm on season 4. This show is crazy. I can't stop watching.
Okay. So, well, if your hairdresser says so.
Yes. And she's an avid TV person. We always are talking about our shows. So.
Gotcha. There's one thing that when I go to the hairdresser, I like to chit chat for a little bit, but I always bring my laptop and I want to get to work. Yeah. Do you really talk the whole time?
Not the whole time, but we do tend to chit chat a lot.
How long are you in there for?
And probably not as long as you, because I don't have weave, I just have
a weave.
I don't know what it's called. Highlight? I don't know. I just do a single color at my roots.
I have highlights. I do have extensions. They're beads.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about a weave.
They're highlights.
Now I sound shuggy-ish right now. No, what's it called when they put foils in your hair?
Highlights.
Those are a partial weave.
Oh, I get full head of highlights.
Okay.
This shit ain't naturally blonde.
I'm not talking about a weave like
sewn in hair. No. I don't have sewn in hair.
I'm talking about a weave where they weave in highlights. I don't know. It could just be a terminology difference. It's it's NorCal versus so.
I guess so.
I grew up, my mom saying, I'm going to get my weave done.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, see, my mom always said, I'm going to get my color done, or I'm going to get my hair done. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so everybody needs to comment. Is it a weave or is it highlights? What do you call it?
Oh my God.
Yes. Because I weaved it. I mean, technically.
What is a partial weave highlights? That's hilarious.
Okay. So
this is like the great debate of stuffing versus dressing.
Yes, now it's weave versus highlights. What do you guys call it?
I feel like our generation calls it highlights.
Yes.
but I must be, because I never got them myself. I just remember my mom.
You've never had highlights?
Maybe when I was very like
You could weave in.
I could weave in
some red highlights. You'd be busting. Okay.
Oh man, we got this,
Yeah.
guys. So anyway, that's
I'm definitely my mother's daughter, and my mom's been taking me to the hair salon since I was like in 5th grade, getting me perms and like always been getting my hair done and everything. And I remember like one tragic day, my best friend and I tried to give ourselves highlights and we missed the timing and my hair turned orange. And and not only that, there were like orange spots.
Oh no.
Because it was one of those ones where you pull your hair through the caps. Yes. And then so it got in between. And so I had spots all on my head that were bright orange and we took off the cap. And I just remember my best friend going, uh-oh. And so I had to go to my hairdresser. I had to go to my mother, who then had to tell me how much that was going to cost to fix. And then went to my hairdresser and she was just like, yeah, this is going to be like a 3-day process and I will never, ever touch my own hair ever again. Yikes. Nope. Let this be a lesson to all of you out there.
Let it be a lesson.
Don't give yourself highlights or a weave. It's no bueno. Okay, my show.
Yeah, what are you watching? What are you watching?
I have been watching, it's not over yet, but I'm all caught up on Ted Lasso.
Oh, how many seasons are they?
3.
Okay.
This is the 3rd season and it's the last season.
Okay. So I haven't watched any of 3 yet.
It's such a good show. It makes me want to like play soccer and I just want to like go to England and eat little biscuits and like just like go to a game. And I just love how it makes me feel like when you're watching and it's like half hour, right?
I love that.
Yeah. Like it's a half hour blip of just greatness. It just sucks that Jason Sudeikis is such a dick. And so that really takes me out of it sometimes. I'm like, I want him to be Ted Lasso, but he's not Ted Lasso.
Oh, that's a shame. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he's totally not a nice guy.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, especially with Olivia Wilde, that whole thing that happened with serving her the papers while she's at like a convention and she's speaking. Like, bruh, you didn't have to do that. Yeah, like he's apparently, I don't know, maybe it's, you don't know both sides of the story, right? Maybe he's coming out of something. And I mean, she did date Harry Styles, but they were divorced at that point or something. I don't know the whole situation, but I want him to be Ted Lasso and he is not. Disappointingly.
Ted Lasso is such an adorable character. So adorable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know what? Ryan hasn't seen it. We were just talking about that. And I feel like I could start it over.
I've watched season 1 multiple times.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like one of those shows you can have on.
Yeah.
But it's also how it's not really a comedy and it's not really so it's like a dramedy, right? Mm-hmm. Because there are some episodes that are tearjerkers.
Yeah.
And some that you can't stop laughing because they're so funny. And they're just such a horrible soccer team.
Do you have a particular character that you really love, like just love that when they're on the screen?
Oh, well, I love oh my God, what is her character's name? Kaylee. I love her.
Yeah.
I don't really like her teeth, but I look past British. That. Yes, they're big teeth. So I love her and I love the and I don't know his name either, the assistant coach to Ted, than Ted Lasso.
Yes.
I love that he brought this American over with him.
I don't remember his name either, but he's very calm.
Yes. Yeah. And he has the goatee and I like him too. So, I'm glad
you brought that up. I'm going to start that.
Yeah. It's a really, really good show. I highly recommend it.
That's on Apple?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. See that I know where to find. Really fucking easy.
Unlike Yellowstone.
That eludes me.
I feel like just like right after you shared that about, I can't fucking find Yellowstone anywhere.
It's so true.
Someone else on maybe a different podcast was saying, where do I watch it?
Yes.
Without commercials.
And without paying additional money.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what the fuck I'm watching.
All right. I like it. I like it. Okay. So let's definitely get into our F words. Do you have, I know last week we had frustrations and false accusations.
Yes.
Falsely accused, which feels awful. I'm going to be doing a follow-up to that today. What are you going to be talking about today?
Well, My F word is friends.
Oh, okay, friends.
Yes, friends.
She's looking at me, guys. I'm really feeling nervous.
Friends. Because I've realized I've always known this, but sometimes we have moments where your friends really shine, right? You know, and I was talking to an acquaintance. I mean, we're friendly. I wouldn't say we're like, you know, in a group chat together or anything like that.
Right.
And I was talking about our friend group and everything. We're called the Squad Day. We were, the origin of that is me, Kathy, Lori, Jen were on our way to San Diego to celebrate Lori's birthday. I think it was Lori's birthday. And in the car ride, I said, oh, we're like a quad. There's 4 of us. We're a quad and everything. We're like, okay, the quad. Then we had a fantastic time in San Diego, got real hammered.
As you do.
And made a couple errors in judgment, had midnight pizza, then left the next day in a Prius, which if you're in an electric car hungover, it is probably the worst experience of you might as well be on a boat. Yeah. It is awful.
It's that floaty, that weird feeling.
And it's just, and if you're in traffic in an electric car hungover, it was horrible. It was horrible, but we had a great time. So then it started quad. And then we met Stacey. I brought in Stacey into the fold, and we became a squad. And then Elaine was always around. And we were like, we got to get Elaine. Like Elaine is going to be in this group, always at birthdays, always at celebrations, always at book clubs and everything. And then we were just like, Elaine, come on, you're going to come. And then we became a Squad Day. She added the E with the accent aigu. So anyways, I was talking to
pulling out terminology. Impressive. I was about to say that little mark above the E. Say it again.
Accent aigu.
Ooh, okay.
The other one is accent aigu. I actually couldn't tell you which one is which, but I sound like I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so I was talking to this acquaintance about our group and everything, and about how we have a term called circle the wagons. And that means basically if any one of us are going through anything, we all know we have to like circle the wagons. Like if we were out on the Oregon Trail, we had to be the ones in charge of keeping the campfire going for the one, you know, like prairie woman who's like, you know, down and out, you know, out of milk and, you know, lost a child to coyotes or something. We circle the wagons and help each other. And I've just been very, very appreciative of our friendship and how over the years we have done such an amazing job nurturing it and cultivating it and making us make time for it. Like we always make sure we're there for our birthdays. We always have times when, you know, we show up for each other, whether it's, you know, through celebrations or through sadness. And telling her this, she just said to me, you're so very fortunate. So maybe that should be my F word, is fortunate. And she told me her stories about friends and mom friends that, you know, and then it was school friends, and then she'd lost touch with her college friends and just all these different women and friends that have come in and out of her life, but she's never had something steady like that. And I've just begun to really think about all of us. And then we also use otters as kind of like our symbol. And I'm telling you, we're going to get a tattoo of otter. It's going to be super cute. I actually see the black line of it, you know, just one little otter, just and like he's coming up out of the water. I don't know. We're going to workshop that. But I forget how otters came about. Otters, do you know what a group of otters is called?
I don't.
A raft.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
that was in the
Because they all like
Yes.
float together and they bond together.
Like,
I don't know. I forget why otters came up.
someone brought up otters.
Yeah.
I feel like it might have been Elaine, but I don't know. I don't want to take credit from
either.
anybody.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember. Was it me? I don't know.
I know it was not me.
So like Otter Squad, we have all of our things. But I think what I didn't tell this person was like, well, not every day's a picnic. There are times when we're like, oh, Carrie's being Carrie. She thinks she knows everything and we're lost. Which I know that I can get us very close to our destination, but I cannot get us there, right? That's where we want to be, but we're right here.
But very close.
Yeah, very close. Not like miles off the mark, but sometimes. So that, we all have our piccadillies. We all have our things that, and we all have our flaws that, and our little imperfections that even despite those moments of like, meh, and that we're still just like, well, I ain't fucking going anywhere.
Right.
So we accept each other for our flaws, for our friendships. And I really want to celebrate how fortunate we are to have these friends. And then I think what it does is it just attracts more people to us. Like, so many people want to be our friend. I don't know if you're aware of this. There are people knocking applications. There are people knocking on our squad day door that want to, but our dance card is full.
Right.
You know how hard it is to coordinate 6 birthdays in a year?
Oh my gosh, no kidding.
It is. We literally have to pull out a calendar a year before and sit down and even then that's challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to celebrate our squad day, our friendships. I love all you ladies. Y'all better be listening. And you better be subscribing and sharing this and liking and commenting. I'm not doing this as my F word to gain any more likes or shares of our podcast, but that would be a nice suggestion. But yeah, Stacey, we are very, very fortunate to have the friends that we have, because so many people don't.
I know. And I know that, it's good that you bring this up because we don't want to ever take it for granted. I don't think any of us do. I think all 6 of us have made a really conscious effort and choice because it does take work.
Yeah.
It's not just, like you said, it's not just a picnic all the time. Sometimes there's little tensions, but beyond that, it's, everyone's busy with their own lives, their own children, their own businesses, everything. So the commitment it takes to each other to do what we do. I mean, we have so much fun. It's not that hard.
Right.
But it still does take a commitment and super amazing partners who are cool with support that
which is also rare among friends to have your significant other actually like them.
Yeah.
Because I have had friendships with women that Sean could not stand and always knew was bad news for me. And I was just like, no, she's fine. Get to know her. It's great. And damn it, he was right both times.
Yeah.
But it's very, very hard. So then when you say like, oh, I'm going to go meet Stacey and Lori at, Pilates or whatever, I don't get it like,
right.
Okay, well, fine.
All of the significant others know that the friendship is an important piece of their ladies being happy and being fulfilled.
So true.
So
without which we would be cranky bitches that they would have to deal with.
Right. I think it's wise and I think it's smart and I think it's good. But also fortunate, really fortunate. So yeah, I completely agree. I really do. I have had other people say, you're so lucky. Like I wish I had that or whatever. And it's like, if someone were to say, how did you do that? Or how can I have that? I mean, I think just being really open, but also committing to your friendships. Like, what's bad? What I hear a lot from people is they say, I feel like my friendship's one-sided.
Yes.
Like, I feel like I put all the effort in, and if I didn't make the effort, that person wouldn't even make an effort with me. And I have
felt that.
Yeah. And inevitably, I think there are more leaders and followers, or just more planners. And non-planners, and that's going to happen. And I think in our group, there's more planners and more people who are just happy to go along with the plan. And that's kind of amazing.
That's actually a good balance.
Yeah.
We don't want a bunch of type A's.
Totally. I agree with that. So, but I do think, like, if you want to be in a group like this, then you yourself have to be the thing that you want, which is like committed and showing up and a good listener and asking questions and not just making it about you. And that's the only advice I can give. And then hopefully you'll attract your squad A.
I know. And I think it's also what, circling back to Girls Gone 40, there's a time when you realize there are certain people in my life that they are not necessarily filling up my cup. And your time is precious, and you really want to make sure that you're spending it with someone who does fill up your cup, but also gives you the opportunity to do the same to them, to reciprocate it. Right. So I'm very fortunate to, to have also the squad A, but also other friends that are like, have known me forever, that literally would walk in traffic for me. If I was just like, I need help. Can you walk across the 405? They absolutely would. And I think it's a testament to how you had to find these people and be like, yeah, you're a keeper. I like you. But even when those people see other people in your lives and they're like, are you sure about this one?
Yeah.
And they always are.
They know they're right.
Yeah. They're just like, but it's great that there's not a lot of jealousy. I've gotten rid of those friends, and just kind of like a little overarching FOMO. And I would definitely have FOMO among our group and among my friends and everything.
But it's not, it's not damaging.
No. And it's definitely not like, I'm not mad.
Yeah. It's more like, I don't want to miss out on that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what I was also going to say. I was going to give you a compliment in terms of what I think also that maybe in your 40s you learn, and you obviously learn this, Carrie, is you don't need to try to puppeteer your friendships and keep certain people away from each other and be like, oh wait, I only want to be with these friends. And then I want, I want to keep people separate. Like, let the chips fall where they may. Don't be worried about, like, some people really want to keep things separate. They're like, what if they become friends and then I get left out? I remember thinking that way in my 20s. Yeah. Maybe even my 30s. Like, well, okay, I don't want them to hang out without me, or you know what I mean? Like that feeling. And I think as you get older, you're like, hey, this seems like a good apple. I'm going to bring her or him around the rest of my group and let's just see how it rolls and not be afraid about combining friendships.
I think absolutely. And I think Supper Club is a good example of that, like where I just bring a whole bunch of women together, but we all have, it took a while to get Supper Club to be curated to where it is. Yeah. There were some Supper Clubs where it was like,
but it reveals itself, right? Yes. And that's the best way to go. It's
exactly.
Just, instead of trying to like control it all, just let it happen and the cream will rise to the top.
Yeah. So that's my F word, friends.
Love
you, friends.
Beautiful. Well, my F word is just a follow-up from last week. As I told you all last week, I had this really sort of traumatic and dramatic situation with my neighbor thou who shall not be named.
Yes.
But he put this poster.
I think we named him Chad.
Oh yes, Chad. Chad put this poster.
Sorry, that's my brother-in-law's name. So sorry, Chad.
It's
no relation. Yes.
But Chad put this poster up basically accusing myself and my boyfriend Ryan of vandalizing his car, which now that I'm a little further out of it from it, it just gives me such a giggle because my God, my word, like, could you imagine? But the time we recorded last time, I had not done anything. I had just seen these posters.
It had just happened.
I think I had a deputy come out. I made an incident report. I had left a message for my HOA. And then I was just gonna as I've gotten older in my 40s, one thing I've really realized is that I want to be very, very sound in my reactions and proud of how I react. Because the older I get, the more I realize that you cannot control how other people behave. You cannot reason with unreasonable.
Yep.
You can only control how you react and how you behave. And you want to be able to look in the mirror and feel really good about
and proud
yourself.
Yeah.
So even though, even Ryan, my boyfriend, was like, we should make a retaliation poster. And of course he was just joking and making levity. And there were parts of me that wanted to be like, fuck you, Chad. And yell it down, and of course there was that temptation.
Sure.
But again, I've grown out of my impulsivity. I am no longer smashing jewelry boxes on the front porches of boyfriends' houses.
Oh.
Another story.
Oh, another story for another day.
Yeah, but so I really sat on it for a few days and I just decided to write an email directly to my neighbor because he listed his email on the poster.
Oh, well,
he called for it.
Yeah.
I heard the call.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought about it and just said, I'm going to really approach him with a lot of compassion and love because that is my authentic self. That's my authentic voice. And sometimes I know to be true, people lash out when they're hurting. And when, so even though I am the victim of his lash out, like, maybe he's just really hurting over his car being so damaged and feeling like a victim. And it is really violating when someone vandalizes your property.
Absolutely.
I've never had someone vandalize like that, but I did have I've had my car broken into and things stolen, and it's a terrible feeling. And particularly when it happens where you live, because you're like, who did this?
This is my home.
And he had the words "bad neighbor" etched into his car.
Yikes.
So of course he's going to be feeling super paranoid. And, I thought about it. This person has never been friendly. A couple times I told you about his welcome mat that says leave. He's not a friendly person. So never have I had any kind of interactions with him that were pleasant. We did have a couple cordial interactions because there was a time where his hot water heater leaked into my house and just other things, but otherwise no like niceties,
Sure.
So I thought, I'm going to write him an email and make sure he knows the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
And that I would never do something like this. And that I felt really bad that it happened to him. So that's exactly what I did. I wrote him a really heartfelt email. And I told him how sorry I was that happened to his car, what an awful feeling it was. I just really validated how awful he must have felt. And then of course I told him that, of course, absolutely, my partner and I did not do this to your car.
Yeah.
We would never do something like this. I'm not sure why you created the narrative that we would do this. I've never had a beef with you. The 2 interactions we had about both plumbing issues were cordial.
Yeah.
I kept those interactions in text. I actually reread them to see if there was any weirdness between us, and I didn't see any. So and then I said, and you and I have really never had the opportunity to know each other. So I want to tell you a little bit about who I am. And I did, it wasn't like a brag sesh, but I just was like, this is what I do. This is who I am. These are my values. I am experiencing a second chance at love right now.
Did you attach your resume?
I should have. And my pop sugar video.
Yes. Here's the link to my pop sugar video.
I almost felt like I wanted to do that because I was just like, come on, man. And plus I go to sleep real early. Like I'm tired.
Yeah.
I could never stay up and do that. And I just really poured my truth into that email. And I did blind copy the HOA. I also did email separately the HOA, sort of a little bit less of a feeling email, more of a factual
just the
email.
facts.
And interestingly, I got an email back from the neighbor, from Chad, and he basically.
How long did he wait to reply?
The same day.
Okay.
A few hours later.
Okay.
I don't think he does much else.
Right.
He's home always. So that's not.
No.
And he basically just told me he didn't like me and no one in the neighborhood liked me because I'm an inconsiderate neighbor, because I let my dog bark for hours and hours and hours on end. And I think my rights are superior to anyone else's rights. And that's why he assumes that's why he has a big problem with me. And that he admitted to calling the HOA on me, calling the police on me. And so thereby saying he thinks I was retaliating against him.
Oh my God.
The email he wrote was so factually incorrect. I mean,
Wow.
It makes me think of like murder trials where there's witnesses and witnesses are giving 2 completely opposite testimonials or whatever, testifying, whatever. And they both believe what they're saying.
Absolutely. As the truth.
They're like, this is the truth.
Yeah.
But it's like,
couldn't be more opposite.
And there's no way.
Who do you believe?
So I'm reading.
Well, that's why you bring in character witnesses.
Right. Exactly. And other people. And I'm reading this going, I mean, first of all, he's like, you've had your dog for 4 years. I've had her for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
You leave her for hours and hours to bark. She's been left 5 times in my home ever.
Yeah.
For no longer than an hour.
Do you have those dates?
I probably do.
Yeah, you do. Let's stack up this case.
And she's only been left 1 time on her own. And that was 18 months ago. That was the last time she was left alone. Before that, she was left alone 6 months prior to that. So really, she's only been left once in 24 months. I mean, it's been ridiculous. It was the first probably 4 months I had her, where I did leave her because I was trying out if she could be left.
Yeah.
Now, what I want you guys to know, F buddies, is that I put a note on every neighbor's door, including Chad's, introducing my rescue dog. This is Louise. She's was severely abused, and she was abandoned, and she was severely underweight. She has anxiety. I'm going to be leaving her. I'm going to be trying different things, her thunder coat, her CBD, her all the things to see. If she bothers you, here is my phone number. I want to know.
Yeah.
Do you think Chad ever contacted me?
No.
Of course not. No. Coward. He went directly to the HOA, and he claims he went to the police as well, although I never heard from the police.
Right. They probably told him to fuck off.
Yeah, because I actually did look up the noise ordinance, and anyway, whatever. So it was just riddled with all these lies. I'm not the only one who doesn't like you.
Wow.
I'm like, who says that?
Right? How was his grammar?
It was a lot of misplaced commas. It was okay. The spelling was okay.
Did he spell the word neighbor correctly?
I know. Oh, and he said emphatically, this was not done by kids. How do you know?
How the hell do you know?
You don't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. It was done at night, not done by kids. And the only indication other than him saying, well, that I called the HOA on you, so you must be
mad or something.
Mad at me, which I didn't know, because the HOA, even though I wanted to know, I said, who called? This was 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Who called to complain about my dog? They wouldn't tell me, because they're not allowed to tell.
Right.
So he mistakenly assumed I knew. Well, now he's admitted.
Let's take this to trial. I will be your lawyer.
It was
I've seen enough true crime to get this case just settled.
Fascinating. Really, all of it's fascinating. And so the only other thing, other than him thinking I had a beef with him, was that Ryan's car was parked next to his one of the nights of vandalism happened.
Okay. So
that's correct. So that I was like, wait, I thought you had dash cam images. Like, what happened to that story?
Right.
Remember, he said he had dash cam images. So all of it is just so wild. It's really taken me some time and space, and some prayer and some meditation to, and even our friend Kathy was like, let's just we need to say a prayer of protection over your house. So his energy does not permeate
come into the top of yours.
Right. And I will say,
burn some sage.
I did have a great conversation with our HOA. I can't go into any details, but I feel heard. I feel understood. I feel seen.
Good.
And then I talked to many neighbors as well.
Good.
Who all were like, we never hear your dog.
What the fuck you say?
What is he? Don't let him bother you.
Yeah.
He's out of his mind.
Yeah.
So that's that on that. That's the follow-up. No, at this time, nothing legal is going to be happening. Certainly not against me.
Right. They haven't cracked the case
yet. He
also
said he was going to file a lawsuit against the HOA, which again, I mean, good luck. I do hope he catches who did this to his car.
Sure. Because there are other cars out there.
Yeah, and that was shitty. It shouldn't have happened. I get it.
I guess the lesson is don't be a bad neighbor.
I mean, in a way, yeah. I mean, in a way, I don't know. And he claimed that he's never had an issue with any other neighbor in his entire time that he's lived there. And I'm like, but clearly you have, because
somebody beat your car with that neighbor, and it ain't me, bro.
Right. So that's the follow-up. Very much just trying to find my peace again, because that's my home, my sanctuary.
Yes.
There's enough other stuff in the world, in my life, and in work and whatever, that you're trying to manage, that you don't want your home to also be
correct
a place of stress. I think that is starting to
dissipate a little bit. Okay. Well, that's encouraging. And it infuriates me that you even have to deal with this on top of everything else that is of all the plates that you're currently spinning. Here's a baby.
Yeah.
Hold the baby while you're spinning 8 plates. It's unbelievable.
That had nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Nothing at all.
But that's life, I guess.
That's true.
We get sucked
maybe
things.
He needs some friends.
Yeah. He probably needs a squad A, and he doesn't have one. So he's an angry fella.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's on him. Sorry, Chad.
Sorry, Chad.
Actually, sorry, not sorry, Chad.
You know what? Take several seats, Chad.
Yeah, take several fucking seats, Chad. Really?
And the thing is, at the end of that really heartfelt email, I said, we can still have a good relationship. I'd like that.
That was nice of you.
This is our place of home, and neighbors should be there to help each other. So
yeah.
I really extended the olive branch even after those shitty posters, and he still came back guns blazing. So now it's 2 fingers in the air.
Yeah, exactly. You better not run into me, Chad.
I
I'm gonna
know.
have some words with you.
And,
Well,
my Ryan has really had to follow my lead. Obviously,
Sure.
this is my home. Ryan has not officially moved in. He stays there all the time, but and he wants to defer to me, but I know part of him wants to just not beat his ass, but like
Right.
say something at
Right.
least. And it's hard not to.
I
say
think the
something.
most interesting thing about that statement was you said officially moved in.
Yeah, I think that'll be happening soon. I hope.
We'll get a follow-up for that too.
I do actually, one of my F words in the future, I really want to talk about dating in your 40s. Oh my God. is it
Absolutely. We
different
have
than
to tell
dating
the
in your
people.
20s?
We have to help our audience, Stacey.
Yes, 'cause
There's a lot of a lot of people get divorced,
sure. So dating for the second time. or
dating
just-
after divorce.
Yeah, all the things.
All the things. And,
Yeah.
we did, maybe,
Having sex for the first time with someone in your 40-something-year-old body
yeah,
is different.
yeah.
It's different.
You're not hanging from the ceiling anymore like you did in your 20s.
Sometimes you're like, yeah, try starting 7 days after a knee surgery. You're like, hold on.
Yeah, buddy, give me a minute.
We'll go into all.
Yeah.
I might have to give disclaimers that Mama Jean cannot
Yeah,
be
listen
listening
to that episode. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm curious if he's on any social media.
Yes.
I would love to
Yes.
stalk him.
Yes.
Let's not say it here,
Yes,
but
I will tell you.
I want you to send me Chad's social. Like what the fuck?
Oh, that. I thought you were talking about Ryan.
No.
No, I don't think Chad is on
okay.
social.
Chad's.
But we'll look.
Okay, I'd like to stalk him.
Yes.
His LinkedIn, something, like what is he spending his days on? Is he just collecting disability like a scrub?
I don't know what he does.
Oh,
I don't know.
So gross.
I know.
Wow. Well, I think that's good. How's the view from the high road, Stacey?
It is peaceful.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
what you want to give yourself is you want to give yourself peace.
I think that's really incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Stacey and 26-year-old Stacey would have handled it the same way.
Not at all. And
Yeah.
that comes with growth and
Yeah.
learning and figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this was a great episode. Thank you guys so much
Yes,
for listening.
Absolutely.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, FWordPod. And again, right now, as we're getting back into this, we're just asking everyone to give us like a shout out on your socials. Hey guys, this is such a fun podcast.
Absolutely.
Check it out.
Share it.
That would mean a lot.
Did I tell you that I got diagnosed neurodivergent on TikTok? I'll just go into that the next episode.
Okay. Follow up for Carrie Murray.
Yeah,
The fabulous.
it's a great doctor.
My goodness. Okay. On that vein, on that note.
Love you, friend.
Toodles.